Okay, so this week, you guys, we're taking big decision, basically. All right, we've basically got a big idea, 3 of them. All right, and then after that big idea, we actually look at the SWOT analysis to look at strength, weakness, and opportunities, and basically what type of things you're gonna deal with that product. Okay, what is that product lay? Where is it? What is its niche and stuff like that, strength and so forth. And now we're gonna get more. So you decided to go for it, basically. Okay, you say, okay, I like that, I like those. Most of you guys, SWOT wasn't enough in depth for me. All right, and it wasn't pinpointing exactly certain areas that are more needed. I think it was just too much general and stuff. All right, you guys, so be careful with that. I think it requires a little bit more, and the only people that actually looked at really have a competition into it, okay, which I really like that. Then I saw some good stuff at that point. Okay, now if we look in our shells today, right here, we are going to define game features, define milestones, define tools and pipeline, game documentation, and software rating. Alright, you guys, I'm not as familiar as software ratings that I am with the rest. I know about it, obviously. Okay, so we'll still go through that, but that's not my specialty. Alright, so you need to read for this week, chapter 15, game requirements, okay, and software rating in chapter 20, okay, and we'll come back to software rating after, okay. Okay, at this time, that's all you're reading on thing. At this time, you guys, of your project, you have a pretty good idea of what game you want to do in an actual general idea and storyline, basically, of it. You should have an idea of who is who in that field after that, the SWOT, basically, that's what it is. It's kind of a who is who in the field stuff, all right? Now you're going to basically achieve a technique called a pipeline, a battle plan. I like to call it the battle plan, right? A battle plan to actually succeed in finishing the project. Okay, it doesn't get deeper than that. If I'm not looking straight up in the camera, you guys, all the time, it's because I got students at the same time. I don't want them to look weird. Okay, so I might be looking on the side a little bit like that. All right, and so basically you get a battle plan. All right, and that battle plan is going to be at multiple level. It's going to be, first of all, to make sure every tools and technique needed to achieve that job, will be talked about and dealt with. All right, that's the pure pipeline itself of the project. And I'll come back to that couple minutes and so forth. All right. Now you all also have to deal with communication inside the project. So team knows what's going on. And frankly, for me, that's one of the hardest things. Okay, and I'll come to my theory because I'm dealing with it right now as we speak for a game, and that's just, it's hard. Now, another thing that needs to be dealt very well also is obviously the milestone of things. The bigger the team, the more milestone I want to control what's going on, basically, okay? The smaller the team, the more you can work organically, especially if you know your stuff, all right? So you put those 2 things together, so you have the tools, the communication between the team, and the better the communication, the bigger the team, basically. The bigger the team, the better communication you need, all right, obviously. And that's hard, especially if you work online only, and I'll come back to that after, all right? And you also have kind of an administrative things that deal with all the advertisement, promotion, dealing with your actual publisher company if you have a large publishing company behind it. But also one thing that everybody will do is the testing, obviously. All right, the testing is something that you all are aware of, and I'll talk about that later on too. But also one thing that I really not everybody talks about, and for me, I think it's one of the most daunting challenges in those projects, is assets management. All right, and that's not only art assets. I talk obviously about art assets because that's what I do. I deal with art assets guy. Okay, most of the time, 80% of the time, that's what I do. Okay, in the production, but it's also in the same with coding. It's the same with gameplay. It's the same with advertisement. It's the same with everything. It just it's the nature of the beast because the video game industry has so much iteration, and I'm gonna go through every steps and stuff pretty much. I just want to make videos by 10 minutes. So they can be on YouTube, all right, or they'll be censored under 12, all right? So I go by groups like that. And basically those assets, because it's a total communication on a daily basis, and there is a lot of mock-ups given back and forth, there's a lot of iterations. It's not like in the movie industry. In the movie industry, you will basically get a scene that you have to do 10 seconds, that's pretty big actually, 10, 15 seconds of a scene, all right, and you have so much time to do it. Then you have to, a couple of milestones from those people go check on you. But it's not like every day you got to give a mock-up of your work. In games, because you have what's called a parallel pipeline, a parallel production basically, where the coders gonna have to be parallel with you in your production, okay, you need to have a lot of mock-ups. Alright? And because of that, you basically have to take care of and manage a lot of assets in everything you do. Alright, you guys, and it's very important to manage them very well because if you don't, you're gonna redo the same thing over and over. Alright, so I'll talk about how to set it up properly. And most of the time, frankly, you guys, you gotta have a really good managing software for assets. Alien Brain is the best one I come to my mind for multimedia. Alright, George Lucas used that for movies, and there's a reason for it. It actually lock versions and so forth. Alright, let me